Hello and welcome back to another character spotlight. There's been a new character announced, this time Nibbs. If you haven't seen her, this is her. She's sort of a dragon-y kind of a thing. She is classified as an assassin, nuker, damage dealer, and mobility tactical. And I'll show you more of her abilities. Nibbs is a dragon warrior in service to the sisterhood of Koba, a demonic group who is bound to Omicron dimension. Plot, 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 plot. Bit Gnaw's tail for a juicy piece of fruit, and he was bitten, stirred, and who managed to convince her to stay with a wide variety. Yeah. Okay, so Nibbs is the new character. I'm pretty sure she's a Starstorm not, so you have to have this Starstorm expansion to play her. And currently she's still in beta, so if you don't have beta, then you can't play her. But Nibbs is a dragon, and they sort of based her design on a dog. She's got very sort of dog-like movements, and that she's got the four quadrupedal. I know bipedal is two. But she walks on four legs, and that's what they said was their main inspiration for Nibbs here, was that they wanted to get a quadruped. That's what it's called, quadruped. They wanted sort of a quadruped thing, and it's very much based on a dog, and you can see it's like hello, hey. But it's going to be interesting once we find out her voice, because right now I'm kind of hoping for a kind of simple beast kind of thing, because I don't think a sophisticated woman voice is going to fit with a dragon that's a dog. It just doesn't quite fit for me. And I think there's some speculation on whose the name is, but I haven't really looked it up. But okay, so she has a double jump like this on base, so she doesn't have to buy any boots for that. And the double jump is fairly high. I mean, it's very akin to Lone Star's double jump and triple jump, in that it just goes instantly. It feels very much like Lone Star, and that kind of slides a little bit. Also, her main her AA attack is sort of a alternating between a head swipe and a claw swipe. That's melee damage. Where are my bots? Where are my bots? I don't know. Vinny Bot's probably going and killing himself on a turret or something. But if you've noticed, the charge meter from Penny is back, but it's not a charge meter. It's not just rehashing that mechanic. Because that'd be kind of boring. Instead, it's a mechanic called Frenzy. It's very similar to gaining charges. You gain them by attacking things. But as you get more Frenzy points, you attack faster, and I think that's it. I think it's only attack faster. Okay, so that's her AA. It's used to generate Frenzy points, which is kind of the basis of how her abilities work. Her two abilities, her first one, her right click is a, what is it called? Orb of Omicron, and it sends out an orb which you can teleport with the second press. So it does that, and it disappears after a second. But if you click it before it disappears, you teleport to that location. It's like a telefrag, kind of like Sentry's teleport, but it's more quick and faster. It's easier to do telefrags and stuff like that. A couple points. Some of the upgrades don't quite work currently. If you do that with the Frenzy upgrade, it doesn't actually work. And also, the animation still goes even if you do it quickly. Like you go, the ball goes farther than you actually teleport to. So that's just little things I've noticed in my little research stream I did. Her second ability, which is her middle mouse button, is a Fire Breath. A very fast AoE damage. It's very akin to Coco's Lightning Ball and Penny Fox's Pulse, in that it pierces all things. And what I found you can do is, like on Serona, you can jump up on your side and shoot through the wall and get at your creep to gain health back, which is a very nifty idea. But we're definitely going to lose this battle, but I'm explaining Nibbs for you guys. So yeah, those are her two main abilities. She's got a couple of interesting things. Her boots are very different. They're different than any other boots on the characters. They're a little bit more than normal. Normal is 135. Hers are 155, and Nibbs gains an extra movement speed and leaves a trail of flames. So it's very much dragony themed, and as you can see, I leave a trail of flames, which doesn't last very long, but it still does a tiny little bit of tick damage. It says, okay, it actually tells 115 damage over time, so it's equivalent of 10. So it's almost like a swipe, 2 swipes, and it doesn't last very long. And another thing is, it doesn't it doesn't just form underneath you. You have to actually move around for it to activate. And that's how her specialty boots, and that's what's kind of cool about her, is that she has a nifty little item. Although one gripe I have with her is that her item variety is kind of lackluster. And that's probably the root cause of the problems I have with Nibbs, is that her items are kind of boring. There was so much more that you could do to make her so much more useful, yet they've got really kind of boring upgrades that don't really mesh well together. I spent like 2 hours trying to figure out what kind of items went together with what. And, not dominated out there. But like on her teleport, she's got max frenzy stats, which I think is actually one of her better upgrades. And what that does is that lets her, okay, die. When she comes out of her teleport orb, she gains full frenzy stacks, and that's useful for a build I've developed, which I think is her best build currently, in an unaltered state. But wow, we're actually getting a double kill. Her abilities just feel kind of lackluster. They don't really mesh well together. There's a range upgrade on the orb. There's a damage upgrade on the orb, which I think is one of her other better ones. A hold position, which makes your thing stay longer at the final target for 4 seconds instead of disappearing after like 1 second. A cooldown reset, which resets the cooldown if you don't use it, like we can use that right now. And as you can see, I can shoot it out again, which I tried building into like a build where you're supposed to spam this, but it doesn't do damage unless you teleport. And the only thing that affects things is the slowing power, so you can send out a slowing orb every couple seconds, but like that's still not that much use. It's like there's just not a lot to her, and there's not a lot you can do with her, which is probably her biggest problem. Her flame upgrades are kind of straightforward as well. Damage over time, more damage on enemy knots, which is curiously less damage than that, but it's a shield upgrade, so it's kind of like Froggy's tornado in that she uses it and she sacrifices movement to deal a lot of damage. Doesn't do damage to turrets. Range upgrade, cooldown upgrade. If you have full frenzy damage, if you have full frenzy, you do 15-30% more damage with the flame. What the biggest problem I've found so far with her is that she's too brittle to really use in the fashion I think they intended. She just doesn't have a lot of health. Like, she is 125, I believe, on base, which isn't that much. Like, I'll make direct comparisons to Froggy, because I think that's someone she's actually close to, in that she has about the same amount of health as Froggy, but she just doesn't have the same escape opportunities. Tornado can be used in escape opportunity. This is solely a turret. Like, my hands are off the keyboard. Like, she's stuck there. She cannot move once she activates that move. And so it really pins her down, and she has so little health that she is easily bursted down. And it's not like you're getting a massive amount of damage out of this thing. It doesn't even kill droids that quickly. And so you're sacrificing movement speed in this game, which so much matters about, like, look, that's how much damage it does. Like, I just don't think it's worth it, in the long scheme of things, that she's just unable to deal the damage, because a lot of the times with someone like a Ray or a Coco, at least Coco bots, she just got shut down before she could release half of her flame. She just died. Like, there's just not much more you can do about that. Like, and now I'm in this awkward situation where I can't step out because I don't have a melee thing. She's a primarily melee character, and so you get to have a problem where you have a melee character who has no way of regaining health. Like most of the other melee characters, Leon has lifesteal and several abilities. Sko has his famous lifesteal punch. But the only way to get more health in this, is this. That's the only way you can gain health as a Nibbs, which I think is a pretty bad thing because she's a melee character. She's gonna be in the face of all these people. Yet she has no way to sort of sustain. Like, it just, I don't know. She feels very lackluster. That is the word I would use to describe her. Here's what I was talking about where it pierces things, and so if there was something to damage on the other side, it would have taken damage. But I just feel like they could have included so many upgrades. Okay, that answers my question. You can teleport while snared. I also tried it with a Swiggin's anchor, and it doesn't let you escape a Swiggin's anchor. You're still kind of stuck. I feel like they could have included a lot of upgrades that would have made her actually able to have like her own playstyle. Also, you can use your teleport orb while using the flame as sort of an escape option. I'll show you in a second. Die.
A vicious strike.
But if you use the flame, you can also send out the orb and teleport to it at the same time. So you do have an escape option, but usually you're using the orb as your initiating tool. And so you are just a jerk.
A very dire situation.
Such a jerk. But I guess they programmed him to just turret dive. Let's look at the AA upgrades. Attack speed, which I think is one of her best. It increases on Dragon Frenzy. I think it's 10% for every Frenzy token, I believe, is how it works, because it just increases your attack speed even more, I believe. I don't know. I'm not quite the best with the numbers. But let's go back. No custom animations for teleporting like Sentry, but oh well. Cooldown on Frenzy, which the way this works is when you have 4 Frenzy stacks and you activate an ability, the cooldowns are 1.5 less. And so it doesn't quite mesh. Like, I thought this would mesh with this one, where it's like, okay, you instantly have 4 stacks again, and then you can it's basically a cooldown reduction on your 2 abilities if you use them in conjunction with this, but you have to have it before you activate the ability. It kind of confused me. Increases duration of the Dragon Frenzy, damage over time, and stun duration on the first hit. So the way this works is when you don't have any Frenzy stacks, you stun like that. But once I have them, it doesn't do that anymore. But like, if you saw, like, I didn't do that much damage. Ooh, managed to avoid that damage coming at me. But she just feels gimped at this moment. Like, she doesn't have any good matchups. She's not too great against other people. I know in the past, like, Randomos have released characters that are just stupidly broken. Looking at Ted and others. But this one she feels like she's adorable. I gotta admit that. Like, she's a dog. Like, it's like a dragon dog. But she feels kind of useless. As a initiator, she does, I don't know. I haven't found any, like, opportunities where she excels at things, which is the problem, is that she doesn't do one thing very, very well. She just sort of, she can teleport and jump in and stuff. I've really so far only found one build that actually even works with her effectively. Now granted, I haven't played against actual players. I've only played with, wow, mutual destruction. I've only played against bots, so I don't exactly have experience with how it actually fares in a real situation. But what I've found works is her AA is probably her strongest thing at the moment. When she gets double attack speed and lots of damage, she rips apart droids and enemy Awesomenauts quite quickly. It's rather impressive how quickly she does things. And I like comboing it personally with that frenzy on out of orb thing. Like, look how fast she's just ripping through this thing. Also, the droids are helping. But I quite liked comboing it with the frenzy on out of Omicron orb. Also, it works like that. Okay, lots of people to me. Wow, we're probably gonna win this one. Space racing with droids. Go. But I really feel like she would be a lot more effective. Like, look how fast she's ripping apart people. And I see a lot of potential for really cool, like, dodges and things like that with the orb, but it just doesn't have as much utility. Like, it's an escape option or it's a damage option. It's not both. And that's sort of where it doesn't do too well, is that she just sort of, that's kind of cool. Like, it's a great trick shot. Like, it's cool, it's unique, sort of unique considering we already have Sentry who does this whole teleporting shtick. But I just think if she had a couple more upgrades that made her unique, she would be a lot better. Because she just feels lackluster. I think she needs a speed up boost on Frenzy, or like a shield upgrade when she's in her Frenzy, like give her the damage reduction while she's in Frenzy, or just lifesteal in Frenzy, some sort of sustain, because as a melee character, she just, early game, she just gets eaten apart by characters that can like easily sustain and brawl against her. But like, as you can see, like, her AA is quite lethal, and I mean, granted, we don't have that much health, neither friend, but nor family. We're kind of at a I think that, like, those sort of initiation where you jump behind someone and like just AA them to death, I think is gonna be where her strong suit is. Stay alive. Staying alive. Oh no, Archer's thing's about to die. Oh well. But yeah, I think she needs a couple of more unique upgrades, things like lifesteal, something to give her sustain, something to give her something interesting, because her upgrades are kind of bland at the moment. She's an adorable character. I love the sprites and the animation. It's great. But it's just, I don't feel like she has a use in the current way Knots is played. I think the purposefully snaring yourself for 2 seconds is not worth the Dragon's Breath, and the damage upgrades and the upgrades I've tried, like I tried a fire build and it didn't quite work too well. I tried a teleport build, like mainly trying to get out as many teleports as possible. I tried that slow and like spamming out the slow ball thing, but just none of that worked. It was sort of, I don't know, it just didn't quite work for me, and I feel like she's cute, adorable, but I just don't see her working in Awesomenauts right now, the way she is right now. Like, I think she needs a health increase, a way to get health back, or better sustain, and just some more interesting upgrades, because right now it's like, okay, length, cooldown, 2 damage upgrades, and yeah, like the boots are incredible. I love the boots. The boots are so cool that it's finally a unique ability on boots. I'd love to see more of that. Like I love options and varying things up. But it's the boots are not enough to carry my opinion of Nibbs. As cute as she is, that's what I was talking about. Also did some experimenting. She can't make the jump like Lone Star. She needs to actually either jump. But that's her main ability right there. She can get up there using her teleport orb quite easily, like that. So nifty little thing you can do there. But yeah, Nibbs, new character, very cool. I see a lot of potential. Like, if they implement some things like that, make her a little bit more beefy, I think she would do a lot better. But I don't know. We'll see what they intend to do. This is the first beta they're releasing to the public. It just got released like 6 hours ago, so everything is brand new. But I'd like to thank you guys for watching. I will see you next time. And I'll keep playing Nibbs, because she's a cute dragon. A Dargon. Dragonor! See you next time.